Hello everyone and welcome to another R&R Partners video. Today we are going to discuss about the Romanian tax record. If you are new to the channel and you're interested in either emigrating to Romania or opening a company in Romania, please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel as we post here new and updated videos every couple of weeks. Now to the main topic. What is a tax record? A tax record is a record that is maintained by the tax authority in which it is listed offenses that you committed and the Romanian state considers them to be violating your obligations when you are doing economic activities. Now, to discuss a bit about the authority who holds the tax record. There are two authorities that are important. Usually when you come to Romania, you might have a company which is incorporated here and could have one address, and then you have your personal address which could be in another county. For example, you can have a company in Bucharest, but you yourself, you don't live in Bucharest, you go and live in Ilfov. Or even in Bucharest, we have 6 districts, and in those 6 districts, each of them has one tax authority. The important part would be that the tax authority who controls or is in charge of controlling your company is the one who can record in your tax record. They are issuing a communication to your main authority who is at your address, and they would tell them that there is an event which needs to be written down in your tax record. Therefore, the authority who holds your tax record would be the authority from your domicile address, and the authority who writes in the tax record could be any tax authority where you are conducting business. Now, before we go to the main topic of the video, I want to let you know that if you're in this situation or if you're planning to avoid this situation in which you have a tax record, do note that you can always book a consultation with me or one of my colleagues via our website, and we can guide you through the process so you will have no problems with the tax authority or any other authority from Romania. So the main topic would be, okay, we have a tax record, we have a tax authority who writes in it, I know where my tax authority is, what can they write in my tax record? The first and major offenses would be criminal offenses which are linked to the economic activity. For example, if you've committed fraud or similar activities, some of them would be noted in your criminal record and also in your tax record. The tax record usually prohibits you from conducting business in Romania, while the criminal record is a record which shows your past experience with the criminal authorities. The second type of these that are noted in your tax record would be the joint liability between the shareholders or associates of a company and the company itself. As you know, when you have a company, there is a corporate veil between the company and you as a person. So practically, if something doesn't go according to plan, I don't know, you are in the shipping business, there is a big storm that came, they toppled your ship in the ocean, all the containers are lost, the insurance company could not cover all of the damages, you can dissolute the company or go through insolvency, and each of the stakeholders would take a part and get their money out of the company as much as it is, but not everybody would be covered in the process. However, this is an example in which the company goes through normal procedure through insolvency and it is dissolved due to the lack of funds in the business to go forward. However, if in this insolvency procedure one of the creditors or the insolvency practitioner considers that you did not run your business correctly. They see that you've been taking out money from the company for personal affairs, or you haven't paid in the right order, or you made under market transactions with the company. They can start a litigation against you in order to hold you liable together with the company. Usually, this is a procedure of piercing the corporate veil. In Romania, it is quite hard to pierce the corporate veil, so to attract the liability of the director together with the company in order for both of them to cover the damages fully to their full extent of their assets. The third type of offenses that go into the tax record are those regarding tax evasions. Usually we can consider them part of the criminal offenses that you are doing, but they have a special regime, so they are mentioned separate in the law, that tax evasion is a deed that is noted in your tax record. Now, usually the above mentioned are deeds that most of us would feel like, oh yes, that makes sense to be there. You've done fraud, you've done something, you avoided your taxes, you've done some bad deeds. It's normal to have a tax record. However, most of our clients are not in that category when they find out that they have a tax record. So you might find out that you have a tax record, but you didn't do something very bad. For this, there is a special category. It's mentioned that in the law as economic inactivity. So when you incorporate a company in Romania, you are wholly liable to take care of that company. If you're not taking care of that company, it's like your baby. However, we have a tax record. So the tax authority will consider the company as not being economically active. They will give you a letter stating that the company is now deemed inactive, but you as the caretaker of the company would have a tax record that would be under your name. Some usual offenses that go under the economic activity are quite simple. For example, your accountant does not file your tax returns on time, so that would be a problem with the tax authority, and they consider you that you are not taking care of your company, because at the end of the day you might say, okay, but the accountant did not submit to the tax authority. What do I have to do? Well, you chose your accountant. You are the one who needs to hold your accountant liable and ask him quarterly, hey, did you file my taxes? Do I have to pay anything to the tax authority? What is my status? Another simple example of being considered an inactive company would be for either the duration of the company to be expired. So when you incorporate the company, you can have a company that is incorporated for an indefinite period of time, or you can state that I incorporate the company for 3 years. However, when the 3 years are done, you must terminate the company, or you must extend the term in order to terminate the company. Otherwise, the company will not be deemed active from the tax authority. You are not taking care, you are not conducting the business as you said you will. Another simple way of getting into the tax authorities bad or problematic businesses would be for your company headquarters to expire. So you must have a valid address for your company at all time. If your company is without a valid address, then you can have problems with the tax authority. Also, another case when the company is deemed inactive would be when a director is not assigned or something happens from the director's side. For the example, you are the associate, you appointed the director, but the director at one point says, okay, here is my resignation, and you as the associate, you do not appoint a new director. So you as an associate would receive a tax record for not taking care of your company. Now, if you found the content useful until now, we would really appreciate if you hit the like button. It really helps the channel out, and you'd also be helping other expats that are in search of information regarding their tax records or how to handle the tax authority. Now, this is not a comprehensive list of all the actions or these that can be noted in your tax record. I mean, we would have to do a podcast, not a short video on this. But one of the other topics that I want to discuss about would be how to remove the tax record if you have one. Some of the tax records are written in law. For example, if you have a tax record, there is a set time when your tax record goes away for tax evasions, for example. However, I'll just go to the last ones that we discussed because those are the most frequent ones. For example, when you are having a bad accountant, he is not submitting on time, he ghosted you, I don't know, something happened. You want to incorporate a new company, but you have a tax record. What happens? First of all, you need to go back to your initial company. You need to find an accountant who is doing his business. He needs to submit everything to date. Probably you'll have to pay some fines. If you have unpaid taxes, you will need to pay the taxes as the tax returns are filed, and probably some penalties for those as well. So when that is done, the tax record is removed within 1 month after everything is filed with the tax authority based on a simple request to the tax authority. However, there's a situation in which it takes longer. For example, if the headquarters expire, you must say, oh, okay, I missed to make an extension, or I missed to file the extension with the trade registry. It's not a big deal. From the tax authority's perspective, is not that way. You actually get a 3 months tax record. So since your headquarters became active again, you have 3 months until your tax record is removed. And one of the longest would be, for example, if you have a company, you let the headquarters expire, but you terminate the company. Even if you have no debts, nothing at all, if you terminate the company with an expired headquarters, then the tax authority would keep the tax record under your name for at least 1 year since the company is terminated. It's funny, as we had a case with actually a Romanian citizen who was in this situation, and even though in the law it states that it's 1 year, I think it took us another 3 or 4 months until the tax record was removed, because Romanian authorities work a little bit slowly, and best would be to not have a tax record. So stay in touch with your accountant, stay in touch with your business whereabouts, know when the headquarters expired, know when your due dates for the taxes are done, and you can pay your taxes on time and everything would be okay. Now, maybe I scared some of you and you're interested, like, hey, do I have a tax record? I have a company, or I've done something, maybe that's on my tax record, or what does the tax authority knows about my activity? In order to get your tax record, it's quite simple. You have two options. Either you go to the authority that keeps your tax record. I already mentioned that is the tax authority from your address. For example, if you're in Bucharest District 1, you go to the District 1 tax authority and request a tax record, and they'll give you a tax record. However, there's a simpler procedure. If you have an profile with your tax authority, you can go in your online interface. We call it SPV, Spațiu Privat Virtual. It's like virtual private space with your tax authority, and there you have a special place where you can file for a tax record, and usually if it's empty you'll get it within a few minutes, and you'll see that you're clean and you can go and do whatever you want with your day. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you got some useful information out of this video. I hope now you are more acquainted with the tax record and what it entails. If you want to be up to date with our activity, you can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And until next time, I hope you'll have a nice day.